off the ship because of one loss. This is gonna test all you so-called fans and believers. My stream is gonna hit at your heartstrings.
What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Sorry that I broadcast a little later than what I was expecting. I had some technical problems with my system that I had to repair, and that is why I had pushed the stream back this morning. I have a lot that I want to say to everybody that's listening. I know right now that the haters are waking up with a smile on their face today because Colorado got their first loss. And they were beaten soundly by Oregon. I mean, that's no denying. There was a lot of problems offensively and defensively with this football team, and I'm going to address those issues. But I'm going to do it fair, and we're going to use analytical breakdown here. We're also going to use Coach Prime's own words. You see, there was a lot of funny things that was happening with that broadcast yesterday. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be completely honest. The moment, and this is backed up by Coach Prime himself. I'm not saying something that isn't something that nobody has said. Even Coach Prime said himself that during the opening part of the game, he knew that something was wrong. They never had a chance in the game. Coach Prime knew it. And I got to be honest, something didn't feel right in the air in Eugene, Oregon. Now, maybe it was the stadium, the sound. That's a very difficult stadium to play in. There have been some of the top teams that have lost in that stadium. So what I'm saying to you, this is nothing for Colorado to put their heads down. This is nothing for those of you out there that are supporting this team, supporting Coach Prime. You like what you see. There have been great teams that have walked into that stadium. If you know football history, Keyshawn Johnson talked about this on The Undisputed. There was one year when USC was one of the top teams and they walked in there and they got walked out. It's a very difficult place to play in. Huge stadium, huge crowd. It's very difficult. If you've ever been there, I've been there. Very difficult environment to adjust to. Now, the haters out there, as I said before, are loving this, ladies and gentlemen. They're loving it, and they're going to talk it up. All the opposition on mainstream media, they're going to talk it up as well. They're going to chuck it up because they've been waiting to have the upper hand in evaluating and critiquing and criticizing Coach Prime. Today, I'm challenging you all out there that if you are all ready to throw in the towel, if you're already in your mind ready to throw in the towel, then you were never a believer in the first place. You're not a real sports fan. You're going to have ups and downs and peaks and valleys. They're playing in the toughest stretch of their schedule. Colorado, Coach Prime, they have no control of their schedule. You play who you play. You win some, you're going to lose some. You can say, well, Coach Prime was out-coached. There's been a lot of coaches in the country that were out-coached in that stadium. Another thing I want to say here, as much as people talk about Oregon and how sensational of a team they are with talent and all sorts of talent all over the place, remember, Colorado is a rebuilding program with Shador at the helm. Shador never had time to get the ball to where he needed to get the ball to and read his keys. I'm going to get into that as well. But before the haters out there tell you about how great this Oregon team is, and ask yourself this question. Oregon, not Oregon State, let me correct myself. Oregon has never won a national championship. For as tough as the stadium is, for as much of the uniform changes, that coach said some smart things about Colorado being Hollywood, that Colorado is looking for clicks, we're looking for substance. Well, substantively, you guys are no different. You see, Oregon for years has been flashy with their uniforms, flashy with their stadium, but yet have won no national championships. No national championships. And I'm here to make the bold statement to you all that I guarantee Coach Prime, mark my words, I said it this day, Colorado and Coach Prime, I bet you, I guarantee you, they will get to a national championship and win a national championship before Oregon will win one, because this is what's going on. This is why all the coaches are hating on Prime, because they see the bigger picture. They see that once Coach Dan, this is what he knows. Let me put this up here. This is what this man knows. You see, he's talking smack because he knows that Coach Prime doesn't completely have the team that he really is desiring, because he needs more dogs. He's got to get more recruits. And they are concerned that once he gets those recruits in, it's going to be a different story, baby. I want everybody to remember this, because I make another prediction. Colorado is going to play Oregon again in the future. And I want everybody, I want Coach Prime, the players that will still be around, I want you guys to keep the receipts, because there will be better players coming to Colorado. That offensive line that you see right now, offensive lines are the most difficult part of a football team to put together when you bring in players like Coach Prime did. Usually offensive lines do not gel that fast. It's going to take some time for this offensive line to gel as this season goes on. I would make the argument that this offensive line will get better. It's not a stellar offensive line. We have to be honest about that. But it's an offensive line that will get better because the season will demand it. As you see the offensive line right there. You got the defensive line going against the offensive line. This offensive line will get better with more play, and you know the coaches are going to be on their asses. But is it the offensive line that they will have in the near future? No. And these coaches know that once Prime gets the dynamic players that he needs on this ball club, that everything is going to change. So I challenge you all out there, if you still believe, put a 7 or a believe in the chat room. You can't take one game, throw in the towel and say, oh, that's it. I knew that something was not right in the opening part of this game. Coach Prime said the same thing, that things just weren't working right. Football is a tricky game and these things will happen. But if you have jumped off the bandwagon, if you don't believe anymore, then you should have never brought your ass over here in the first place to either support this channel, Life in Football, Days Buffs, all the channels out there. What are you doing supporting what we're trying to do in terms of supporting this program? Then you shouldn't be over here supporting it. Or are you just looking for bad things to happen so that you can be a hater? I'm not talking to the people right now that believe in this football team, Coach Prime, and the players. I'm talking to the people who are sort of on the fence. Because a lot of you, I saw a lot of stuff yesterday watching people's streams. I saw a lot of people who are, oh, they're not going to have a successful season. Oh, they may win these many games. What are you talking about? You're either on board, and being on board is the ups and downs and the ever flows. I told you a long time ago, everybody, that I'm going to broadcast and we're going to talk about the good. We're going to talk about the bad as well. The offensive line. This is two things you have to understand. This is why this is a perfect picture. Why this is a perfect picture is because the heart of any football team, anybody that knows football would tell you exactly what I'm about to tell you. The heart of a football team is its offensive line in the trenches. Then after the offensive line, the defensive line in the trenches. People have said that the defensive line is a little light in the butt. They got to get some more beef in there. Yes, that's going to change with time. Coach Prime has done something that nobody has done in the history of the game of college football. He has reshaped the attitude of this team, and it's only going to get better with more recruits coming in 2024, 2025, 26, and beyond. So you can't sit up here when they lose games and now jump off ship and then come running your raggedy butts behind back when they start getting those top recruits in there over the years to come and they become a power team, which is why the coaches around the country are questioning what Coach Prime is doing. They're hating on him. They're low-key hating because they see the writing on the wall. Paul Fonbein, I'm going to get on his ass. He came on ESPN College Football talking about, oh, Coach Prime is creating an epidemic. Why has it got to be an epidemic? Why is it that he's creating a new way of football? I just didn't like that word. And then he turned it around and said, well, he's changing the way college football operates. But why does it have to be an epidemic? You usually associate the word epidemic with something negative. You see how they throw sly words in there? You see how they throw sly words in there? Shador never had time to throw the ball. He was under pressure, under duress throughout the whole day, because I got to be honest with you all that are listening. Make sure you share this video in all your social media, your community tab if you are a content creator. You see, Shador never had time to get himself set because he was under duress the whole game. The offensive line, and people are not going to like to hear the truth, the offensive line is not at a level that Coach Prime, this football team needs them to be right now, because if Shador had more time to operate and throw the ball, he would be sensational. He would be putting up great numbers. That's why he put up 510 yards against TCU, because the offensive line was sensational. They gave him time. They blocked. They made the key plays that were necessary, ladies and gentlemen. And so for the people that are truly with this team, you have to be patient and understand that there's going to be some ups and downs. This team can win, but they do have some flaws that is going to be exploited by the better teams. And so we can't just jump ship if we believe in what Coach Prime is trying to do. If you believe, put a 7 in the chat room, put believe in the chat room. You can't just jump ship, because when things get a little rocky, and usually, ladies and gentlemen, when things get rocky, that's when you really, people really show who they really are. People really show who they are when things are rocky. Should I do this? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get on their coach, because he had some pretty low-key hating on Colorado. And the thing that's crazy about it is that Coach Prime never showed any hate towards Oregon or disrespect. But like Coach Prime says, they're always coming for us. They're always hating on us. They always got something to say about us. We were minding our own business until they make it personal. And then what did the media do, ladies and gentlemen? They tried to turn it around and say that it was personal for Oregon. Why? Because they're jealous that Colorado has gotten a lot of press. They're on YouTube. So he makes some slide statements that nobody from Colorado said anything slide towards Oregon. Gave him respect. And then the media turns around and says, this must be personal because they want to see Coach Prime crash and burn. You know, the media will build you up, and then they love to crash you down. But those of you in the chat room, those of you that are listening to this broadcast, you can't let this one win. You can't let this one loss, should I say, this one loss make you lose your intensity for what is happening with Boulder and Coach Prime and his players. You can't let it do that to you. You're going to have the haters, the Jason Whitlocks. I'm going to be getting on his behind very soon on this channel. Hating, talking about Shador, talking about the man's son. This is what they want. I want y'all to hear something. I got to play this because it is necessary. It is necessary, folks. Let me put this up here real quick. Warning, federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyright motion, picture, video, tapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use, and is allowed for the purpose of criticism, okay? News reporting, teaching, parody, which does not infringe of the copyright under 17 USC 107. Ladies and gentlemen, when I say that this will show, this game will show you what type of players Colorado has, whether they're real, whether they really are resilient. And this game will also prove, for those of you who've been claiming that you are supporting this team, the players, and this Coach Prime, this will test you as to whether you're really riding with them or you're just a pretender. And Coach Prime said it himself at halftime that he wanted to see and evaluate the coaches, evaluate the players, see how people continue to play hard even under adversity. Check this out. This is fair use, fair use.
We're going to see what we're made of. Situations like this make you hold one another accountable. That's players and coaches. He said one play is not going to put 35 points up on the board, but he said, I want to to see the possession, time of possession improve. Colorado's had the ball 9 minutes to Oregon's 20. He also said Shador has to take what the defense gives him and be quicker with decisions. And I don't know what sense you guys got, but standing next to Dan Lanning going into half, this man has taken this personal. Absolutely.
It's about, see, you see what they just did there? They threw the personal word on Dan Lanning. Now, why'd they do that? We know that Coach Prime was saying that word, and he had a good reason, because you had Jay talking smack about him, all these coaches talking smack. And so now when Coach Prime is losing a game, they want to turn around. This is the media. This is the game that the media plays. They want to turn around and use a word that isn't relevant to the situation, because Coach Prime and his players did not say anything negatively about Oregon. So why would anything be personal other than jealousy and envy because Colorado has gotten attention? Let's hear this again.
Said Shador has to take what the defense gives him and be quicker with decisions. And I don't know what sense you guys got, but standing next to Dan Lanning going into half, this man has taken this personal.
Boom. Listen again.
This man has taken this personal. This man has taken this personal. Absolutely.
Now, why would Dan Lanning take it personal when Coach Prime did not say anything negative about his program or him as a coach? You know why? Because the reality is jealousy. You see, they know that Coach Prime is going to be a threat in the future, and we're talking about the near future. This is what this is really all about. This is about their concerns and their fear that Coach Prime's going to ultimately out-recruit them and ultimately kick their ass. So they want to take shots right now because they feel that they have the upper hand right now. But they're trying to discredit him and what he's doing, the haters, because they're jealous of the fact that their grandfather's way of running the football and college football is changing. And I got to be honest, it's a black man that's changing this reality. I think some people have a really big problem with that. I said it. Let me show you something. This matchup, this battle royal that did not draw the kind of fruit that we would have wanted in terms of wins, a win. And I want to thank you all that's here. I give you an analysis on my channel. I break it down. Now, before I go into this portion of the program today, I want to give you some numbers. When we talk about Brother Shador and all that he had to deal with in that game, a quarterback can't be successful and can't make things happen if the offensive line can't protect. It's power what you're getting right now. He cannot be successful. Colorado's offensive line is a deficit on this football team. We got to stop kidding ourselves. You know who they could have used? I'm going to bring this up because someone brought this up in the chat. This was earlier before I didn't go live at a certain yesterday. But let me show you something. You know who they could have used on their offensive line? This man right here. This is Brother Brown. Remember Brother Brown? The NCAA interfered in allowing this man to have waivers to be able to have eligibility to play right now. They took it away from him. And so this is a man who would have been in those trenches, who could have been a starting offensive lineman, which could have made this offensive line a lot better. How many of you have forgotten about Brother Brown and what happened to him and how that has also had an effect indirectly on the offensive line? Because this is another man who could have made things better for Brother Shador to have better protection to get the ball out. We cannot deny that. When they lost this brother to the season because the NCAA would not allow him to play, the transfer portal mess, this is what happened. This is the situation. I give you the analysis. I give you the truth. The NCAA had to butt their foot into this matter. The offensive line is an issue on this football team. We have to be honest with ourselves about that. And this is not, Shador has been sacked more than any quarterback in college football today. Not because he's a bad quarterback, but he's playing behind an offensive line that needs a lot more work. And I think they can get better as the season goes on because they've got to gel more. Another thing that's a problem, and Coach Prime has brought this up, is the lack of a efficient running game. This is a problem. Let me give you some numbers here. Hankerson had 5 carries for 31 yards. Running back Dylan Edwards, our young star, had only 3 carries for 21 yards. Now, obviously, they got behind in the game. And when you get behind in a game like that, you have to do what? To get back in the game quicker, you have to employ a passing game. But however, Colorado has been passing more than running anyway. Running back Alton showed up and had an opportunity to play. Let me put this over here. So once again, we have Dylan. Let me read his numbers off. Running back Dylan Edwards, 3 carries, 21 yards. He had 3 receptions for 9 yards. The young man has to get the ball. They got to get the ball in his hands more than that. And I noticed that they were running him in the inside. And I feel personally, and I know Coach Prime and the coaches, they know this, I think Dylan Edwards is more explosive when he's running to the outside. And when you get him in the flats, catching the ball, get him in space. I don't think he is an inside running back. But not only that, it's not so much that I don't think the offensive line is good enough right now to open the type of holes that he needs to get through running up the middle. Alton McCaskey, here he is right here in practice with the yellow jersey, coming back from his major ACL injury. He came in with 5 carries for only 17 yards because most of those yards were doing at the fourth quarter when the game was pretty much over. And Cavassier Smoke came in and played a little bit. But what I don't understand is, why didn't we? This is just my question. I'm wondering why we didn't see Cavassier Smoke and Alton a little bit earlier in the game, running the ball up the middle, if that's what the game plan was going to be at that time. I don't know. I don't know. I just wonder about that because Coach Prime has said himself that they know that they can't run the ball very well, and that's what's going to take pressure off of Shador, where he doesn't have to worry about getting knocked to the ground as much because he is the most sacked quarterback in college football right now. That's byproduct of the offensive line. Savion Wilkinson, should I say, Savion had 1 carry for only 7 yards. Xavier Weaver, he got 9 receptions for 75 yards. Antonio, the other receiver, the big receiver who came back, made a few plays. That's the guy that's 6 foot tall, big receiver, and they're going to need him down the stretch as we go further. He got 3 receptions for 42 yards. Michael Harrison, who I think is coming into his own. Let me put him up here. I think this young man, this kid is coming into his own. He made the only touchdown to keep it from being a complete shutout. Michael, I know they call him Mikey, but his real name technically is Michael Harrison. He got 3 receptions for 22 yards and 1 touchdown. Thank you all for being here today and watching the program. I appreciate you. Here's a clap to all of you because I appreciate you for being here. So he is continuing, from my opinion, he seems to be the safety blanket for Shador. So that's a good thing. We want him to get better. We want him to get better and completely show what he can do like this. This is fair use for the purpose of educating, to avoid copyright issues. But this is fair use for the sake of education, parity, critical analysis, news reporting. This is fair use. Watch him here. One of the only bright parts of what happened late in the game. But I think they should take something away. We should take something away from this, because this young man made big touchdowns in the overtime game against Colorado State, and he made a touchdown in this game. I think he's going to get better as the season goes on. So we need to be on the lookout for him. Check this out. Fair use. Let's see that again. He catches the ball, and that was the only bright spot. But I have to say, folks, that this young man is showing us that he can make plays. Even under a bad situation, he can make plays. So I think we should give him a clap. We should clap that up. We should clap that up because there's some positives you can take from this loss. And that positive is how this team responds. Coach Prime says he wants to see how these guys come back from this, how they respond. He's evaluating coaches, players. That's what's going on here. They can only get better from this because it allows them to go into the laboratory and fix what the problems were. Let's keep it real. Oregon has a big team, big offensive line. They've got some guys on that team that have a lot of experience. Bo Nix is a very experienced quarterback. We're not going to deny that. Very experienced. He's played in big games. There's not a lot that fools him. He knows how to read defenses, but most of all, he's very in command of his offense. And the difference between him and Shador is he's not better than Shador. The difference is that he has an offensive line that kept him upright, and Shador has an offensive line that is struggling, and that is why Shador was not able, or Colorado, to generate the type of success that we were looking for in yesterday's game. This is just facts, ladies and gentlemen. This is just truth. Nothing to be ashamed of. If you're still with this team, all 406 of you that are watching, if you're still with this team, put a 7 in the chat room, put I believe in the chat room. If you still are rocking with this program, because there's nothing for us to be ashamed of. Let me go into the defensive numbers right here. Trevor Woods, I think he was out. I think under those adverse circumstances, he still came out and played. I watched them all over the field. Trevor Woods had 8 tackles, okay? So he did his thing. Shador just needs more protection. But when we look at Shallow's name got caught quite a bit yesterday, making plays. Shallow got about 7 tackles in yesterday's game, okay? Then you had linebacker Mitchell. Mitchell came in the game, and he got 10 tackles, okay? Then you have Jordan Dominique, right? He got 1 sack, which actually was good. He got 1 sack and 3 tackles. Just wasn't enough to win the game, okay? Then, of course, we have to look at Amari Cooper. We had Cooper who came in to replace our man who can't really be replaced, and y'all know who that is, and that's Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter can't be replaced, y'all. He's recovering. He's at home with his girlfriend. Hopefully he'll get better. I know he's been telling people on his own social media that it's football. It happens. He says he's okay, but it's a shame that they didn't have him for this game. I think he could have made a difference. I really do. Who knows what interceptions or plays he could have made on offense that could have made the difference. They won't have him for the USC game, which is another damn shame, and we'll just have to wait and see. But you can't really replace a man like this. You can't. I give him another clap. We give him another clap there. Okay? You can't really you can't replace him. But Cooper came in and got an interception. He got 8 tackles. He got 5 solo I think it was 5 solo tackles out of that 8. So he really played good for a young man who came in and stepped up for Travis Hunter, even though it was in a losing cause. And it was a losing cause because I got to be honest again, Coach Prime he's got to get more dogs. He knows he has to get more dogs. He knows if he gets more dogs that he can win. You know why we know that's true? Because this is what they are concerned about. Let me play you this right here. This is what he said on First Takes when they were about to play Colorado. I think this is Colorado State. This is fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use for the purpose of educating, news reporting, teaching, parody, which does not infringe on the copyright under 17 USC 107. This is fair use. Check this out.
Go get it. So I've seen that, and I know how we gonna go get it. I know how we gonna go conquer it. I know how we gonna go do it. And we don't need much. All you recruits, where my camera? All you recruits out there, baby, you know I ain't hard to find. We're about 7 to 8 dogs away from just changing the game. 7 to 8.
Did you hear what Coach Prime said? He says we're about 7 to 8 dogs away. Let's hear it again. Fair use.
7 to 8 dogs away from just changing the game. 7 to 8.
When you say changing the game, what does that mean?
That means
when you say what does that mean?
Means when we walk out there, we know what we know. Put my theme music on time.
Hear this again. This is important.
7 to 8 dogs away from just changing the game. 7 to 8.
When you say changing the game, what does that mean?
That means
when you say
ladies and gentlemen, that is the real reason these coaches and the pundits out there are hating on Coach Prime, because they know that he's 7 and 8 players away. They know that he's another recruiting class away from something really, really great. They know it. And so therefore they want to talk trash now, but they know it. They're concerned that he's changing the narrative of college football. They're concerned. That's why Paul Funbein says it's an epidemic. That's a crazy word. They're concerned that this man is going to take recruits away from them. They're concerned. This is what this is all about. Let's go over that. I'm going to show you something. Okay, this battle that was on college football, Colorado against Oregon, it was a battle. It was a battle in which it was one side It was a one-sided. We couldn't get anything going offensively or defensively because I'm going to be honest, because just like Coach Prime said, we're 7 and 8 dogs away. And once he gets those recruits, that's why they're concerned about his recruiting. That's why they're concerned about the transfer portal. Next year, 2024, is going to be dangerous, and they know it. So they're talking their crap now, like Dan. Listen to what he said on a podcast. Many of you have seen the still writing about this, but I don't know how many of you have seen the actual, heard the actual video clip. He was on Sirius XM radio, and he says, at the end of the day, YouTube videos aren't going to win football games. You know who he was throwing a shot at. If you know who he was throwing a shot at, put it in the chat room. He's throwing a shot at Coach Prime. This is what he said. Now, why would he say that? We know that Colorado is on YouTube. They have players who have YouTube channels. This is not a secret. But why would he say that? Because he's hating. He's tired of Coach Prime in Colorado getting attention. So he's saying, hey, we're Oregon. We're over here. We matter. Even though you got great uniforms, you got great stadium, and you've won a bunch of games in the Pac-12, but you got no national championship. And Coach Prime, he going to get to a national championship before you do. And he going to win one because he's going to eventually get better players than you have, or equal, if not better. And that's what they're really concerned about. Let's hear a little bit of this. So he says that little sly statement. Let's hear the actual audio. Let's hear the actual audio of what he said, y'all. Check this out. Here we go.
We can win in a multitude of ways. You know, you talk about going down and having a tough game there at Texas Tech early in the season in the road, and having to do it with some takeaways and some resiliency earlier, some big special teams kicks. You talk about a team that, you know, has been explosive at times on offense, and a group that's taking care of the ball and taking it away on defense. So certainly not a complete game yet. We're still looking to have one of those. But we've got a team that's going to have a chance to have some real success this season. Preseason's over, boys. We get to play. Every one of these matter, and all of them matter from the jump anyway. But the way we practice, like these guys, I promise you, their chin straps are buckled tight, right? And they got them bra straps pulled in tight on the shoulder pads too. We don't have to change our mindset when we go out there on the practice field. I mean, at the end of the day, YouTube videos aren't going to win football games, right? You got to play the game between the white lines, and that's the plan for us this week. I'm not really concerned about outside noise. This is all about playing the game, not the occasion.
Did you all hear that? He's shooting a jab. He was shooting a jab at Coach Prime in Colorado way back there. Why is he saying that? YouTube videos? Last time I checked, Oregon has a YouTube channel where they display their teams. I'm sure that there are players on Oregon that have their own personal YouTube channels. Why would he say that? Because why? He's been watching Coach Prime. He's been watching Colorado. He's been seeing the attention that Coach Prime has gotten ever since he left Jackson State, and where he also got some attention as well. But he also saw how he's changing, the ticket sales, the attention he's getting, the media. So what's happening is that these coaches like Dan Lanning are jealous. They are haters. Because why would it be necessary for him to use the word, we're not going to win by using YouTube videos? He's basically taking a shot at Colorado. And this is what's crazy about it. Coach Prime has never taken a shot at Oregon. So why are you taking a shot from the very beginning at Colorado? I understand he made that statement about when was the last time Colorado was relevant, or when the last time they won something. Okay, I get that. They haven't won anything before Prime even got there. But why did he go to that reference? Because they're watching the YouTube videos. They're watching what Coach Prime is doing. They're watching and they're jealous and envy and don't like it. But I think Dan knows that what Coach Prime is doing is going to benefit them in recruitment. And he's going to take players away. You know why we know this is true about Dan? You know why this is true, everybody? I'm going to tell you why he's a hater. Let me tell you why he's a hater. Because he admitted it in a press conference that Dylan Edwards out of Kansas was a young man that they were trying to recruit. Just like Notre Dame was trying to recruit him. And what happened, ladies and gentlemen? What happened? He chose Coach Prime over Dan. That's the truth. So what am I saying? What's my premise here? My premise is that he already sees the writing on the wall. A young man that he heavily recruited rejected him and went to Colorado, and he sees the bigger picture. So now he wants to throw out shots. And check this out. This is fair use again, for the purpose of educating, critical critiques, news reporting, parody, the whole 9-yard, under 17 USC 107, which does not infringe on the copyright. I want y'all to see this. This is what he said. I think this is what he said prior to them going into the game. He said these slide statements. I have a serious problem with what Dan said. Now, they won the game. Yes, they did. But don't look at the fact that they lost this game. Look at the bigger picture as to the threat that Coach Prime presents to the college football world. These coaches know that he's about to get them dogs in there, 7 to 8 dogs that he said himself. That he needed. He said himself.
7 to 8 dogs away from just changing the game. 7 to 8.
And when you say changing the game, what does that mean?
That means
when you say what does that mean?
Means when we walk out there, we know what we know. Put my theme music on time, we come out the locker room because you know.
That's what they're really concerned about, and that's why he's talking trash to motivate his players and doing this stuff right here. Check it out.
Rooted in substance, not flash, rooted in substance. Today, we talk with our pads. You talk with your helmet, right? Every moment. The Cinderella story is over, man.
When he says Cinderella story, who is he talking about? He's talking about Colorado.
Right? They're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins. There's a difference.
You see that? This is why the reference to the YouTube channel reference shows you that the haterism is all there. You see? At the end of the day, YouTube videos aren't going to win football games. He said it because I played the audio for you, right? When he said that, he's talking about Colorado. Colorado and Coach Prime never said a negative thing about Dan or his football team, but he decided to jump out the window and say that because he knows that Coach Prime is 7 to 8 dogs away from being up here above him. So he wants to talk some trash because he knew that he's got the weapons on his team. He knows he's got a big offensive line, and he's got a 4th or 5th year starting senior who's got a good offensive line in terms of his quarterback, Bo Nix. So he decided to talk this trash because really what these coaches are saying deep under the psychosis, let me use my therapy cap. Therapist for over 25 years here. Underneath the deep psychosis is the deep jealousy that comes out in their speeches, in their radio reporting, when they get on these radio podcasts, and now they're telling you what they really want to say. And then the news media wants to turn around and talk about something being personal, like this.
Shador has to take what the defense gives him and be quicker with decisions. And I don't know what sense you guys got, but standing next to Dan Lanning going into half, this man has taken this personal.
So now they want to flip it and say they're taking it personal. Yeah, because they're seeing what Coach Prime is doing and they're concerned. So let's go on back to the rest of his speech here. Listen.
Right? Every moment. The Cinderella story is over, man. Right? They're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. There's a difference.
Who in the hell thinks that Colorado and Coach Prime are fighting for clicks? They're out there playing football game. They were a 3-0 team when they met up with Oregon. So who says that they're fighting for clicks? You can't fight for clicks and go 3-0 in the opening season of a team that was 1-11 a year ago. What is he talking about? Because deep under the psychosis of deep under the psychological depths lies the true hate that he really has for Coach Prime in the football program. That's why he said what he said. Let's listen to the fully now.
Rooted in substance, not flash.
So basically what he's saying, let's decode the bullshit here. He's basically saying that Coach Prime Coach Prime, Colorado, his players are not rooted in substance. Them videos that we watch, you don't see them out there playing hard. You don't see them out there working hard to be great. Look, not working hard. Or are they working hard, ladies and gentlemen? Watch this. Are they not out there working hard? Are the coaches not working hard to get them ready for football games? They didn't play a great football game yesterday. But you're telling me that they're not working hard in their practices? Look at that. They're not trying to get out there and win? That Coach Prime is not trying to prepare them for winning? Is that really what you're saying, Dan? Is that really your talk when you say substance, huh? Is that really what you're saying?
Today, we talk with our pads. You talk with your helmet, right? Every moment. The Cinderella story is over, man.
Talking about Colorado, saying that they are Cinderella story. Let's continue.
Right? They're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. There's a difference, right? There's a difference, right? This game ain't going to be played in Hollywood.
See, look at that. Another shot. This game ain't going to be played in Hollywood. Last time I checked, who in Hollywood is playing football? Last time I checked, they still played 3 games on the ground, went into an overtime at Colorado State, ladies and gentlemen, and won the game. Last time I checked, Travis Hunter got hurt, not because he was being Hollywood, because he took a dirty shot. Last time I checked, Shador was leading the country in yards, completions, the whole 9 yard. He put up 510 yards on TCU, which was in the national championship where Oregon has never been. You never, because you lost. You don't have a national title. Even with your fancy uniforms and your stadium, you guys have no national championships. And Coach Prime is going to get there before you because y'all are scared that he's going to get the best recruits. He's going to be able to take talent away from you. In Oregon, he already did because y'all wanted Dylan Edwards. So what do you mean the game is not played in Hollywood? Last time I checked, they haven't played a game that was in Hollywood. All games have been played in real football stadiums with real players. You're just talking, man.
It's going to be played on the grass, right? It's going to be played on the grass.
Last time I checked, Colorado played on the grass the last 3 games. The deeper story to this is that they are concerned about what Coach Prime is going to create into the future. This is what this is really all about, ladies and gentlemen. If you agree with my analysis so far, please put 7s in the chat room. Say you believe whatever you like. Thank you. I'm talking about the offensive line again because the offensive line is the heartbeat of a football team. And this is truly a problem on this football team. I thank you all with those 7s. All of you that are here, I see you all in that chat room. Blue Devil Glean, I see you here. The 5-star review. Jeff, I see you here. A lot of great people in the chat room, which I really appreciate you all being here. Let me take this off of here. Just missed that. The White Man, the Wolfpack Gaming, thank you for being here. Cover 2, Harmon, thank you for being here. Robert, thank you for being here. Gabrielle, thank you for being here. Duke 092, baby, thank you for being here. Clyde, Clyde Marshall, thank you for being here. David Day, Rod Kemplin, thank you for being here. Jeffrey, thank you for being here. Middleton, thank you for being here. Ross, thank you for being here. Kenny Johnson, I see you in there. Peggy Roster, Patricia, thank you. My mods are in the house. Peggy Roster and Patricia, thank you for being here and supporting the program today. If I'm doing a good job, you know what to do. Put those 7s in the chat room. Let me know. I appreciate you. We got Just Faith that's here. A lot of great people that came over to support the channel today, as I really appreciate you. I'm going to give you a clap again, all of you. Now, I talk about the offensive line because this is what Shador is dealing with, and they've got to figure out a way to jail this offensive line quicker and better, because he just can't go through this for the whole season, because I don't want Shador to get hurt when he's taking these type of hits. It's not good for him, obviously. So I want y'all to see this. Check this out. So you see Shador, he gets sacked there. Let's play that again. See, he's going back. See, he's got 1, 2, 3 guys sacking him. This cannot happen. This cannot continue. There's 3 guys that get to him. Look at this. 1. Here comes 2. Here comes 3. He cannot this cannot continue, ladies and gentlemen. He cannot continue to get this pressure on him like this. He's the most sacked quarterback in college football right now. Not because he's a bad quarterback, because they're getting pressure to him. Now, Shador will tell you that he's holding on to the ball too long. I think he's holding on to the ball because he's trying to find the open man, because he's still looking down the field when he's got the pressure coming at him. The offensive line has got to gel together. This cannot continue. 1. And then the second guy comes in, the third guy. This cannot continue. It cannot. I'm sorry. It just cannot. The offensive line that you see on the right side in the white jerseys, they've got to fix these problems. Shador can't continue to go on like this. He's going to get, I don't want him to get hurt, but it opens the door to it. I'm going to say again, one of the best ways you can protect your quarterback in this situation, just my opinion, you tell me if I'm wrong or right in the chat room, is that you've got to get a running game. That's why this is happening. This is why this is happening. When you don't have a consistent running game, it puts more pressure on your quarterback, and particularly if their offensive line isn't really the best. And because teams know they cannot run between those tackles or running the ball outside, which I think they should be doing with Dylan Edwards, then it makes your team and offense one-dimensional, and all they have to do is set back with their safeties and cornerbacks and let the defensive line, and this was the strength. I told y'all in that pre-video that I did that this was the strength of Oregon's football team. And if Shador could have had more time, he could have sliced it, because their secondary is not a great secondary. But when the defensive line is putting pressure on the quarterback and the offensive line can't protect the quarterback, then it's going to make him look like he's not a great quarterback, and it's going to make the secondary look like they're Deion Sanders or something. Metaphorically. Let's hear what Shador had to say in his own words. Everybody, I want to thank you for watching today. Make sure that you hit the likes, share the video in your social media. The haters are going to keep hating, but we're not going to let them win at that because we're going to stay positive. We're going to support this team. We know that better days are coming. For the purpose of parity, for the purpose of fair use and allowing for the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which does not infringe on the copyright under 17 USC 107. This is fair use, and this is the man himself. Let's hear from him. This is Shador Sanders.
And just can't continue to take sacks like that.
As you can see, Shador is acknowledging what I'm saying. I can't continue to take sacks like that.
I'll say that it's just I was holding it too long.
Now, Shador said that he was holding the ball too long. That may be true. That may not. I tend to think that this was mostly because of the lack of the offensive line protection, but that's my opinion.
Oh no, obviously we're not satisfied whenever we don't put up the numbers and be effective to open up the passing game like that. But that has a lot to do with just knowing the read keys and stuff like that, and just me personally missing reads. Really, everybody understood what happened. Everybody understood what transpired. So, it's really let's just get locked back in. Let's understand what happened and let's move forward from there.
Was this eye-opening for you guys to see a game like this? Things been going for you guys?
Nah, I mean it's not eye-opening because it's the game of football. If you don't execute, then you're gonna lose. If the other team execute, then they're gonna win. Like it's not nothing magical or anything they did that was just like unreal, surreal. It was just we just didn't execute our game plan.
Shador, Oregon's coach referred before the game to his guys to fire them up. You guys were Hollywood Flash. This isn't about flex. It's about winning for us. Is that?
So he's being asked a question by a reporter. I know it's very faint in the background. He's being asked a question by the reporter about Dan, the coach of Oregon, saying that this is about substance. This is about not Hollywood. So they wanted to get his response to what this man said. Let's see what Shador actually says to that question right now.
Why would player? I think each team players will be fired up. I don't think one coach is gonna fire up players up more than the other because that fired up stuff go out the window after the first kick. Yeah. Really, I just gotta be perfect off rip. That's it. Just starting slow and just we can't afford to do that.
What's it like just having everyone watching you, talking about you, dissecting everything that you guys do?
Regular? Feels the same? Yeah.
What was the message from your dad in the locker room?
At what point?
Just after the game.
Oh, he ain't talked to us yet. We haven't spoke to him yet. But they probably in there talking about it right now, though.
What about at halftime? What was said there? What was the locker room like?
Really, everybody just getting together with the position coach, just explain, okay, what we got to do in the next half and just moving forward like a 0-0.
Sure, I know it probably didn't make a difference in the outcome of the game, but not having trash. How big of a deal was that? What did that change for you guys in the next week?
A lot. Travis is two players for us, but that's not the reason why we didn't win or lose. Nah, it's just early on. Last week it was an interception and it was a trap fumble. So it's like the slow starts are just self-inflicted wounds. That's all it is. It's not anything that, you know, it could be different play calls or anything like that. It's just us personally. We just got to execute what the play that's called. I say moving the ball. Executing, knowing the blocks, knowing the reads, knowing the route depth, everything like that. Just the simple things. That's it.
So Shador Sanders pretty much broke it down there. He says he held on the ball too long. He really didn't have much to say about what Dan Lanning had to say in his locker room other than, hey, what players don't get fired up by their coaches, and then you go out and you play the game. At the end of the day, you got to go out and play the game. He mentioned that he hadn't talked to, at that time, yesterday, he hadn't talked to his father, Coach Prime, yet. I'm sure they've had that conversation about what he needs to do to protect himself from getting hit in terms of getting rid of the ball. He's going to have to get rid of the ball a lot sooner than he wants to under those circumstances because he cannot, as I kept playing that video earlier, he's not going to be able to sustain during this season. I mean, this is just Oregon that they played against. USC is going to bring a punch too. They don't have as great of defense as well, but they're still a top-notch team in this Pac-12 conference. So we want Shador to get through this season healthy as possible, successful as possible, and they got a lot of things to work on. But that doesn't mean that we should jump ship and not support this team and support what they're trying to do, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you all that are being here. I see you in the chat room, Keith Johnson, Mr. Quick. I see you here, Keith Johnson. Thank you. Everybody that's in that chat room, I give you a clap again. Let's hear from Coach Prime right now. I think Coach Prime would definitely be good to hear what he had to say. Once again, under fair use. This is fair use for the purpose of commentary, education, critical analysis, critique, parody that does not infringe on the copyright holder. Let's hear Coach Prime right now.
No, definitely not. If we had a talent gap, we wouldn't be 3-1 right now. It's not a talent gap. You just got your butt kicked.
That's not the one that I want to show, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one I want to show. Here we go. That's what I'm going to show after. Here we go.
First and foremost, thank the Lord for allowing all this to transpire. It's a good old-fashioned butt kicking. It's no excuses, no nothing. Their coaches did a heck of a job preparing their team. Obviously, we didn't. That was good. I mean, that was a really good old-fashioned butt kicking. We went into the game wanting to dominate several phases. We lost offensively, defensively, as well as special teams. That fake punt kind of got them really rolling, and they didn't stop ever since they secured that first down. Well-coached team. Bo Nix played his butt off. Defensively, they presented some things that I guess we just couldn't get around. We couldn't advance the ball, rushing or throwing the ball as well. Seemed like they had our number. But hats off to their coaching staff, to their head coach. Great job, and they're truly prepared.
Yeah, I'm going to try to yell from all the way back here. Ariel Lashuto.
How you doing, Ariel?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent.
With a good old-fashioned butt kicking like that, is there anything you can really learn and take from it, or is it really easier just to kind of wipe the slate clean and move
No,
on?
you can't wipe the slate clean. You got to watch the film and evaluate. I'll do that on the plane, but I saw a lot of it live. Just players that weren't in position, that didn't do the job that we expected. You evaluate players, you evaluate coaches, you evaluate everything when it's a game of that nature, and you had no opportunity to win, period, from the kickoff on.
I want to stop it right there because Coach Prime has just validated what I had said earlier in the program, that it seemed like something just wasn't right in the air from the very beginning of this game. and Coach Prime was on the ground floor watching what was taking place, and he said it himself that it looked like from the very beginning, for whatever reason, it just wasn't their day. Let's hear this again.
One in position that didn't do the job that we expected. You evaluate players, you evaluate coaches, you evaluate everything.
Right. He's going to evaluate everything on this football team, but let's continue on.
When it's a game of that nature, and you had no opportunity to win, period, from the kickoff on.
Boom. Key right there. You had no opportunity to win from the kickoff on. I was feeling something wasn't right in the air myself, even though I believe, and I was saying, hey, they can still win this game. They could come back. Shador is going to get out there, and he's going to show out, and a lot of things did not turn out the way I was hoping, but something was weird, and even Coach Prime, out of his own mouth, out of his own words, felt the same similar way.
Yes, sir. Yeah. No, you don't need to hammer home a player. A player knows. I mean, he could fool himself and trick himself, but when he looks at the mirror, he knows what he's looking at. Something like this is I'm not going to say, you know, people around the country would say this is what they needed to humble themselves. We wasn't arrogant or whatever. We're confident people. If our confidence offends your insecurity, that's a problem with you. It's not us. We expect to do well. We expect to play well. We expect to win every game we step out there. We expect to practice to perfection and go out there and execute the things that we practice. We just didn't do it today. But it's not something that was needed. It's just like saying you get in a car wreck or something. Oh, he needed that to slow him down. You don't need that. That's just stupid. It's just something that happened, and they got the best of us today. That's just it. No. It's not like we were being tricked. We knew everything was coming. Even after one of the TV timeout, we were saying, they're going to take a shot. They're going to take a shot. They took a shot, scored a touchdown. I mean, sometimes your message just don't translate. You got to really get on the same page as the youngsters is out there playing.
As you can see, Coach Prime said that sometimes your message doesn't translate. And he said out of his own mouth that, you know, we got out coached and they got to go back to the drawing board and see what took place, evaluate players, evaluate coaches. And I'm sure Coach Prime is going to do that. He's a professional. And I like the fact that he was still a man of character, a gentleman who was willing to still say, hey, hats off to the coaching staff at Oregon. Hats off to Dan Lanning, even though Dan was talking a lot of trash prior and during this game in his locker room, equating Colorado with being a team of no substance, a team of Hollywood, this idea that you don't play football games on videos, when in fact this team, Colorado, has already proven that they can play football with coming into this game 3-0. And let me also say this, because I should have put this in my pre-video. It's not like Oregon beat Colorado, okay? Straight up. 42, you see the score up here, 42-6, right? I'm not happy about that score. But then let's go look at Oregon. They beat a Hawaii team that wasn't that good. They beat some football teams prior to playing against Texas Tech that really weren't that good. They beat Texas Tech 38-30. They could have very well lost that game because of turnovers and all the things that they engaged in. Whereas you look at Colorado, you can make an argument that they played against tougher teams in the opening 3 games of their schedule prior to Pac-12 play. If you just look at the teams that they played versus Oregon, it doesn't negate the fact that Oregon beat them, but I'm simply saying for him to say that they're about Hollywood, that Colorado is not about substance, when Colorado just beat 3 teams that were tougher teams on their schedule in comparison to the cupcake teams outside of Texas Tech that almost beat them because they were turning the ball over, and Texas Tech quarterback turned the ball over to them. I think 3 interceptions. If it wasn't for those turnovers by Texas Tech, Oregon would be looking at a 3-1 record as well, or maybe a 4-1 record now. You see how this thing works in football? Anybody could be possibly beaten when you're not on full cylinder. I just wanted to add that piece to this. Let's hear the other clip from Coach Prime. And this is fair use for the purpose of parody, educating, critical analysis that does not infringe on the copyright holder of this video. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
No, definitely not. If we had a talent gap, we wouldn't be 3-1 right now. And it's not a talent gap. You just got your butt kicked. It just happens sometimes. That's just like a fighter. You just got caught. It happens. It's not a huge talent gap. I just think they played a really concise game. Penalties murdered us. I don't have the statistics, but I'm pretty darn sure we darn near doubled them in penalties. We're a really sound, fundamentally sound team. We don't make foolish mistakes and implement danger or harm on ourselves. Field position wise, we just kept making mistakes. That's not indicative of who we are.
How much was Travis missing?
Travis always gonna be missed. He's the best darn football player in college football. How is he not missed? It's just like saying you write an article and your pen is missing. That's how much he means. Yes, go. I'm not gonna say that. You don't always have to get your butt kicked to learn. You can win and learn. I mean, that's not something to learn. It's something to glean from. It's not just the kids. The coaches are accountable too. We are all accountable. Let's start with me. We're accountable for this.
Boom. That's very key what Coach Prime just said, that it's not just the players, but the coaches also have to be held accountable and be evaluated for what they missed in preparing them for this Oregon team. But let's just keep it real. The key to this game was the fact that there was a battle in the trenches in which Colorado's offensive line was struggling. And as a result of that, Shador Sanders did not have the time that was necessary to make the magic of throwing that football what we would want it to be. They were not able to also generate a running game. And I believe other than Jordan Dominique getting a sack, let's just be honest about it, the defensive line, unfortunately, but they can get better, was not able to generate enough penetration and put pressure on Bo Nix, which opened the door to the running game and the passing and what have you. And it was just a very difficult place to play, a very difficult environment. And everything just started to snowball on Colorado. But they can come back from this. So let's not jump off the bandwagon. And as I said earlier in this program, they can come back from this. This is one game. They still have USC that they're going to have to take on. And they got USC at home. I think they're going to play good at home. I would have loved to have seen them play against Oregon at home versus being up there in Eugene. But this is the one good thing we can say. They're coming home to play USC. That's a good thing, coming off of a loss like this, to have the support of their fans. Let's continue.
It's not just the kids. The way we played, that really surprised me. We played like hot garbage. That surprised me. I didn't expect that. I got to watch the film. I mean, sometimes he is, sometimes the routes, sometimes the calls, sometimes the blocking. So it's a whole lot goes into that. So you really have to watch film to really dictate and understand what transpired on that specific play. It's a lot goes on in the play.
What's the message to the team?
To get your butt up and let's go. We ain't got time to have no pity party. There's nobody walking around the locker room with napkins and tissues. Get your butt up. Let's get on that plane. Let's go. We got work to do. No, because that means you got your butt kicked. When you start putting guys in at the end, that means you got your butt kicked. No. Yeah, I mean, you wanted them to play, but, I mean, no. Well, we had to score. We had some tremendous opportunities all game long, but it seems like we just kept shooting ourselves in the foot. And every time we get something going, here we go with another penalty. Here we go with another holding. Here we go with just something. We just got to perform better, much better, in every phase, not just offense, defense, as well as special teams. We got our butts kicked again, I reiterate, in all three phases.
Yeah, the offense distribution for the Ducks on the ground and through the air was
Say that one.
Sorry, yeah, the offensive distribution for the Ducks on the ground and through the air was pretty even.
Yeah.
What aspect of Oregon's defense did you struggle with most today?
They got to our quarterback. They got to our quarterback. When you get to our quarterback, it's a wrap. Because it's not like we're running the ball successfully. So we got to.
Right there, ladies and gentlemen, that's what he's talking about. They got to the quarterback, and when you get to the quarterback, it's a wrap. Coach Prime has said this several times, that if we keep Shador upright, he can create a lot of problems. And I think the other teams, they know this. This is why they're looking at all these teams. USC is going to try to do the same thing. They're looking at the video. They're seeing what the glaring weaknesses are on Colorado's team, and they're going to try to exploit it. So they're going to have to tighten up the offensive line. This Colorado team goes as far and as long as Shador goes, meaning he's got to be upright. It's just that simple, ladies and gentlemen. Let me also say this too, that Coach Prime said that he's 7 to 8 dogs away, players away from really truly being able to compete with the big dogs out there. Remember, as I said before, this brother Brown could have really helped them. I said this earlier in the show. He really could have helped them in that offensive line, but the NCAA took him away from Colorado because they would not give him the eligibility to play this year, and that was, in my opinion, a damn shame. And I'm just being very, very honest with you all. Information is power. Everybody in the chat room that's rocking with me. I see we got Brandon E is in the house. Chris is in the house. Don J, thank you for being here and supporting the show today. If you guys enjoyed the program today, definitely put those 7s and those believes in the chat room, or 7s, as I appreciate you. I'm getting ready to come to a conclusion, but let me play this for you real quick. When you talk about Colorado needing those big dogs and Colorado being a team that they are going to be dangerous and to the other coaches in the country in terms of Coach Prime's ability to get the best recruits, it's going to happen. And this is what they really are afraid of, that not only is he changing college football, but the coaches are threatened by Deion Sanders' presence in college football, which is why they're shooting shots at him every chance they get. When Dan is saying what he's saying to his players, he's saying it to the recruits, y'all. Look at the bigger picture. He knew that the media was going to run with his narrative. When he's talking like that, he's trying to downplay what Coach Prime and the Colorado is doing, but he's also trying to speak to the recruits and say, hey, you don't want to go play for Prime or Colorado because there's no substance over there. It's just Hollywood. See, we play real football over here. You got to decode the dog whistle that he just put out there when he said all that stuff. When he made that statement in that podcast that I played saying that football is not played on YouTube, he's trying to do a dog whistle to the recruits because he don't want them taking the recruits away from him. They already got Dylan Edwards away from Oregon, and he wanted Dylan Edwards. So here comes a young man who has committed to Colorado in the 2024 class, defensive lineman, and he looks like he's got some offensive skills, Brandon Davis Swaney. This is what they're concerned. This is the 7 to 8 dogs he need. More beef on the defensive line, maybe more beef on the offensive line. Check this clip out right here.
There you go, right there. He's wide open.
Man's pass complete to swing.
That pass was completed by Brandon Davis Swain. I love the way the guy said that. You could hear that southern sound in his voice. Brandon Davis Swain. Yes. Yes. Let's hear it again. Fantastic. Hear it again.
There you go, right there. He's wide open.
There you
Man's pass complete to Brandon Davis Swain. Touchdown.
Woo! Touchdown by 4-star for 2024 recruiting class, Brandon Davis Swain. Touchdown. I love the way he said that. Touchdown.
Swain. Touchdown.
Now, that's what they're afraid of, ladies and gentlemen. He got a lot of kids coming. He said it himself, I'm not hard to find. I'm not hard to find. That's what they're really concerned about, that he's getting the Brandon Davis sways. That's a big dude. That's a big young man who's a defensive lineman committed, and he's a defensive lineman that can catch the ball and make a touchdown. He could play a little tight end maybe. Ooh, and you know, Coach Prime, he might play him both ways. Play him on the defensive line and let him play a little bit of tight end. Yeah. That's what they're afraid of. That's what they are afraid of. If you agree with my analysis, especially on what I just said, put those sevens in the chat room. Say you believe. I really appreciate you all coming over today. This has been great. I feel good. I want you all to feel good. Don't let the haters bring us down. I know I'm going to get some haters that are going to leave some messages on this video today and say, you guys got beat 42-6. Okay, yeah. One game. Okay, say what you got to say. But you ain't going to be laughing as the season goes on and the team gets a little bit better, the players gel a little bit better, and this is what y'all afraid of. Y'all afraid of next year, the year after that, the year after that, when them dogs keep coming into the program and you get them bigger defensive linemen, them faster outside line, when the team really gets more I'm not saying that they don't have good players on this team right now. What Colorado has is really great skill position players, wide receivers, right? Things of that nature. I'm talking about when they get more players that come in and add to the talent that they already have and solidify the talent, strengthen the talent, and then I want to hear what these coaches got to say. That's what they're really concerned about, and that's why they're going to keep hating. And then the people in the media, the Paul Fibons, the Mad Dog from Mad Dog Radio, these guys that are hating on Prime and the Jason Woodlocks are hating because they don't want to see what he's about to create. That's what they're concerned about, because he's changing college football, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all out there. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your Sunday. Share this video. I appreciate you coming over and giving this channel great support. I think we're at close to 23,000 subs on this channel, and I owe it all to you. Make sure you subscribe, because I definitely would appreciate it. We're going to keep this thing rocking, and I'm thinking about going live possibly either Monday evening or Tuesday evening so I can address the Jason Woodlock mess. He's been bumping his gums, talking mad crap about not only Deion, but now talking about his sons. That's a problem. This guy, he's calling Deion Sanders he's calling him black devils and all this. So this is from a man who claims to be Christian. Okay, so we're going to get into that very soon. If you like the program, hit those sevens, leave comments. Just because they lost this game, I ain't going to stop making videos. I ain't going to stop talking about the good and the bad. I'm not going to stop uploading YouTube shorts. I'm not going to stop dropping stuff in the community tab for you all. And check this out, everybody. Get over to the Facebook page, because I drop content over there. More visual, more audio and video content over there. I've got about, what am I at on that Facebook page? The numbers are going up every time I look at it. Last time I checked, My Facebook page has about 64,000 followers over there with the content that I drop over there. So when you go over there, you're going to get some extra content that I can't drop in the community tab that's in the Facebook page. We're talking about more video content, more memes content, and so all kind of goodies over there. And of course, I drop my YouTube videos over there. So get over to the Facebook page. It is what? Prime Sports Media. Prime Sports Media on Facebook. 64,000 people following over there. I also drop a lot of those reels, some of the same reels that I drop on the YouTube shorts. So I take my YouTube shorts and I also drop them over there as well. But there's other goodies on that page that you will enjoy, folks. I want to thank you all for being here. We're going to get out of here today, and you all, definitely love you for coming out and showing out today. Take care. Peace. 1, 2, 3, 4. Before I go, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play something that Coach Prime said prior to that game. And this should be for those of you who still are going to support the program, even through the ups and downs like what happened this past weekend. Here it comes.
You got to believe. Let's just forget sports for 1 minute, 1 moment. Do you believe in you, period? Take away your jersey, take away your number, take away the thing that's on the back of your shirt, your family name. Do you believe in you? That if you didn't have sports, you wouldn't be successful. That's the way you got to believe. That I don't give a damn if I had sports or not. I was still going to be something in somebody, and I was still going to affect and impact our society. God just chose to give me the ball. And he just chose to give me some talent. And I did some wonderful things with it for such a time as this. So you got to believe no matter what in you. When I say I believe, what does that mean? Confident. I love that. What does that mean? Excuse me? Believe in oneself. I like that. What does it really mean? I'm betting on myself. I love the way you vibrated that thing. I'm betting on myself. Coach Kelly, what does that mean to you?
The way you all and the way the coaches have practiced the past 2 days compared to the days before that and last week has been drastically different.
Because there's no way you can believe if you what? You're not prepared. There's no way you can be him if you're not prepared. I believe we getting ready to go shake up the whole country. I truly believe that because I feel like the offensive line are going to do what they hadn't done all year. And they're going to truly be dominant. They're going to protect too. And I truly believe this defensive line understand what they're up against with the run. And they're going to truly be dominant. And they're going to get penetration. And they're going to get pressure. I truly believe that. That's why I'm confident today. That's why I'm walking the way I walk. That's why I'm talking the way I talk. That's why I'm moving the way I move. Because I believe in every darn thing that sits in him. The problem is, you got to believe in the guy next to you. We good with that?
Sir.
So when I believe, that's what I mean. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're saying. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I believe in y'all. You got to be.
Stop that right there because I want to say, yeah, Chris, I like what you said. Woodlock is a buster. You are absolutely correct. Absolutely. And that's why I'm going to have to expose him on this channel. Thank you for that comment. Alicia, I see you in the chat room, one of my mods. Thank you. Thank you, my sister. And I hope you are having a great day. Here we have Gavia. Are you hating? I know you're hating, but don't worry about your hate because you guys have not won a national championship. And check this out. Oregon's been better as a team longer than Colorado over these years. And you guys, with all your fancy uniforms and stadium, you guys have not gotten a national championship. Last time you were in one, you got your ass kicked. And Coach Prime is going to get there and win it before you guys because you guys are afraid of his recruitment ability. Mark the word. Yes, that's right. It's just one loss. That's right, A-Fire. Just one loss. Y'all take care now.